to some people, you know, maybe postpartum my career, I would love to partake in something like UFC or even boxing. I've talked to Dana White about some stuff, but we'll see as things go on. We'll see. As I've told.
I don't know what's going on these days. It's so disrespectful. Can you imagine if John Jones or Izzy, you know, they're talking about retirement?
Yeah.
If Izzy was like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about going to the Boston Celtics, playing some point guard. You know, I talked to the owner of the Celtics. You know, I might try out for the Boston Celtics. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. He ain't going to do shit.
And he's 29, so if you...
I don't get how they underestimate how hard it is to be a UFC fighter. Now, if he said, yeah, after this, I want to try my hand at MMA, I'll probably, you know, have a fight or two in a regional show, more power to you, dude.
Yeah.
But when you go, yeah, I'm thinking about fighting in the UFC, that's no different than me going, I'm thinking about taking some swings, maybe playing shortstop for the LA Dodgers. The fuck are you talking about, dude? No other sport has to deal with this. I don't know what it is. Everybody thinks they can fight. Jaylen Brown cannot fight. I don't get it, dude. He's also on the max contract. What? Have you ever seen how much we make, dude? It's so dumb. It's so disrespectful.
But it is true that of all the sports that people play, the ones that they envy the most is MMA. You know, all the sports players.
Yeah, and they watch it, so you'd think they would have some sort of clue how good you know how good you have to be at fighting just to make it to the UFC.
Yeah.
It's no different than Izzy or Sean Strickland going, yeah, man, after this, I know I only have 1 or 2 fights left. I'm thinking about trying out for the Denver Broncos. The media would laugh in his face. But for whatever reason, Dana and the MMA media, they condone this. Oh, that would be sick. Jaylen Brown. Are you out of your fucking mind? There's been guys that have tried it before. You ever heard of a guy named Johnny Morton? Stud receiver, played at USC, played for the Detroit Lions, had a fight, left on a fucking stretcher. Wasn't even high level, didn't fight a high level guy, got fucking starched. It's all, they're not going to do shit though. This isn't real.
Okay. Big John McCarthy, this looks like it was a recent seminar that he was doing, and then he talked about how they wanted to officiate the UFC way back in the days, and this is one of the things.
Yeah, this is the documentary on Crown did. It's really dope.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here we go.
The time we were not allowed to stop the fight as a referee. They actually thought about putting me into a lifeguard chair. I'm not kidding. You think the UFC is crazy now? A lifeguard chair having a red towel rolled up, and I was going to throw it at the fighters when I said, yeah, you need to stop. Make sense to you? Have we evolved a little bit? At the time, we were not allowed to.
Back in the day, man.
Yeah.
Some bad ideas. There's no dumb ideas. They're trying to figure it out.
Lifeguard chair.
Judging still has a ways to go, though.
We talked about this on the second show last week, but the whole scandal with the Andre Galval and his team Atos, or that whatever that.
Atos, yeah, that's the.
I don't know if it's called a team or if it's a huge thing, but yeah, from where he's from, Atos, the whole sexual misconduct thing with that one girl. So then recently, Mackenzie Dern posted this picture with him and her, kind of showing support for them.
That can't be a good look for her.
Yeah, I don't know. She probably experienced nothing though. So
well, of course not her. These two always play a part in my camp since Jiu-Jitsu days until now. MMA, whether we are close or far away, they're always here for me. Thank you for everything. Okay, so she's not condoning what the fuck's going on. She's just saying they're in her camp.
Yeah, but once all that stuff happened, to post that picture, it is saying like these guys are good people. So it's kind of like backing them up.
Yeah, it's not good.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is kind of what we were talking about before. You were talking about before, how Dana White doesn't talk to the fighters pretty much. It's like always Sean Shelby or someone else like Hunter Campbell.
Well, what's he talking about? Is Matt Brown talking about when he fought?
No, but he's also saying the same thing. He said that to to a certain point, it would be Dana, like the other guys, and then Dana White would be the last when he was in the top 5 order. Then Dana White would have the most conversations with him.
Well, once you
However,
get to a certain level,
Yeah.
Dana gets involved.
but once Endeavor came in, he said he didn't talk to Dana White at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And he was still fighting when Endeavor came in?
Yeah.
I was kind of coming up and, in my prime, so to speak, making a run for the title and everything. The situation that I understood, because I only spoke to Dana personally when I started getting into those top 10, top 5 fights, right? Everything below that, like, Dana would have, he was clearly involved, right? Like he would kind of talk to him here and there, and, he would come back to the locker room and talk to you about it. And, you get little glimpses here and there about what he wants next. But until I got into the top 10, top 5, there wasn't a whole lot of like talking to Dana about it, But then when I got up in there, now I wasn't even talking to Joe Silva anymore. It was just straight to Dana, right? And then after the buyout, this is just my own experience, I never talked to Dana or anybody other than Sean Shelby.
That's not good.
So Brendan Schaub goes off on Dana White because I don't even know why he's blaming Dana White for this. It's this thing. Schaub does this thing where someone calls someone an athlete, and Schaub goes, "Hold on, that person's not a real athlete." So Brendan Schaub considers himself a real athlete. The problem is when compared to actual real athletes, they are not. So that's why that's happening. That's why they'll ask somebody in a real sport if they want to go into the UFC, because the UFC is something that a real athlete can just go into, not vice versa. And for everyone who's going to disagree with me on this, every person in the UFC, I'm not saying this is always going to be the case, but it probably will. Every person in the UFC is there because they have to be there. If they were good at football or basketball or any other real sport or team sport, they would do that and make a lot more money. But they're not, so they had to end up fighting. And there is a UFC and MMA around, like I said. If this was the 70s and 80s, all these guys would have just became like pro wrestlers or something. But now they can become MMA guys. But the definition of becoming an MMA guy is you weren't good enough to make it in a real sport. No one's going to be like him. I'm good enough to be the number 1 draft pick in the NBA and the NFL, but I think I'll go fight in the UFC. And it's not even a money thing either, because like they wouldn't do that for boxing either. But he gets very butthurt about that. But it's just the truth, so he's gonna have to get over it. It's just the way it is. If you're like in an actual sport, you could just go to the UFC and not the other way around. Deal with it. You're not good enough. I mean, like Schaub isn't good at fighting. He's just a big guy. He's slow. He's not good at actual sports. And didn't he get on by like, he's making it sound like he did all this regional crap. Didn't he just get onto a reality TV show? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.